I am Professor Milligan. Welcome to Ask the Professor, where I answer questions on investing in a plain and simple way. Where do I get my stock ideas from? So where do I get my ideas on stocks I'm going to buy, trade, invest in, and so forth and so on? There's three areas I look at. There's more than that, but the three general areas I always go back to is I look for stocks that are setting new highs. You know my philosophy has always been buy high and sell higher. So I typically love to look for stocks that are setting new highs. That's my area. So the first place I look for stocks that are setting new highs. I have a list of the stocks that are at their all-time high. All time. And so what I do is I go through this list and I start looking at charts. As you guys know, I like stocks that are setting all-time highs. I go look and see what the company's doing, what the chart looks like. So the first place I'm going to tell you guys that you can actually find ideas are look for companies that are setting new highs. The dear get dear, the cheap get cheaper. So if they're setting new highs, it means that there's been heavy institutional buying, that people want to own the stock, it's in the right sector at the right time. A lot of things can be going on, but the bottom line is we'll track that back and figure out what's driving it. But the first thing we got to do is we got to actually find it. And so the first place I look for stocks setting their all-time highs. The other place that I look for stocks, where I get my ideas from, is I'll actually go to stocks and I'll actually go in and I'll look at what sectors are performing. Now, a lot of people don't understand this, but institutional investors, the hedge funds, the mutual funds, they are constantly going through what we call a sector rotation. As I always tell you guys, we need to be forward-looking. Forward-looking means we need to look at what we think the market's going to do in the next 6 months to a year. Portfolio managers, because of the sheer size of the portfolios that they manage, have to be forward-looking. They can't wait for the market to do something and then react to it, because then they're always behind the market. So what they do is they try and forecast where they believe the market, what sectors, what industry is going to do well. So what I do is I go back and I just track sector performance. What it's showing is the top performing sectors, and I believe this one is for the last week, the current week. So you see consumer financing, water transportation. These are the different sectors, industries that are performing really well. For the last week, you can do it for the last month, 3 months, 6 months, you can go back a year. I go through these and I look at the top performing sectors. What you can do then is you can actually open up that particular sector and see how the stocks are performing in that particular sector. I go into the sector industry, I find the stocks that I'm looking for, want to look for, and then from there, I'll crack open a sector and I'll actually look at the sector. So you're looking up there, there's some financial, some payment stocks. I'm looking here, there's payments, there's worldwide. So again, I crack these open. I'll open up that top performing sectors. I'll look inside and see what stocks are moving the sector, the top performers in that sector. That's another place that I find stock ideas. Very powerful. And then the last place I look, which we had talked about, I've already talked about a number of times, I look at companies and stocks who actually beat Wall Street estimates on earnings, beat Wall Street estimates on revenue. Then I go check and look and see how the stock's performing. As I said earlier, I like them at their all-time highs or close to it. The theory behind this is that if they're beating on the earnings and revenue, that means that they're beating Wall Street's expectations, which means that Wall Street's going to do a couple things. Come in and revise the numbers up. And it also tells it that the company's doing well. Forward-looking, I think the stock will continue to do well. They're generating more revenue. If they're generating more earnings per share, that should drive the stock price higher. So let me recap. One is I look for stocks that are setting new highs. My philosophy again is buy high, sell higher. There's a Wall Street saying the dear get dear and the cheap get cheaper. So I look to buy stocks that are at their all-time high and driving. The second place I look into the top performing industries and sectors. When I look inside the top performing industries and sectors, I will then go look and see what stocks are driving that industry and sector. It's the second place I look for stock ideas. The third place I look for ideas, again, is earnings per share. I look for companies that are beating on earnings and beating on revenue. My belief is that But don't get me wrong, I'll do a lot more research, but my belief is that if they're beating on earnings and revenue and they're beating Wall Street's expectation, that the business must be doing well, and that's enough maybe to propel the stock price higher. Those are the three areas I look at. Thank you for watching the video. If you found the video helpful, please hit the like button. Look for more Ask the Professor videos on finStream TV. You can follow me on Instagram at Professor Milligan. Tune in every Wednesday on the market close for my Wall Street Wednesday, where I discuss the market, trading ideas, strategies, and things of that nature. Feel free to email me any questions that you might have. You never know, I might do a video on it. You can email me at askprofessormilligan@professormilligan.com.